Before we set this one off, I gotta say thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you have, make sure you click that subscribe button so we can keep gaining momentum. Gotta keep this momentum going, baby. But anyway, anywho, it's your boy AP on the spot. And DABABY has been criticized so much lately over the last couple weeks. You've seen it, I've seen it, we've all seen it. I mean, everybody from, surprisingly, a lot of people who I never thought would have came out criticizing DABABY came out of, the shadows and the darkness and just started, criticizing him. And rightfully so. He did say some very, very negative, disparaging, disrespectful comments towards the LGBTQ community, which I vehemently disagree with. But you just can't be out here wilding just off the cuff, to still be hustling, doing your thing to make it in the music industry. And then all of a sudden you become this just mega superstar. That was probably a transition that he wasn't either prepared to make or nobody prepared him for that. We all have to do the right thing in life, feel how you want to feel about a certain segment, a certain race, whatever you want to. The godly and the right thing to do is to love everybody, regardless of what they're doing behind closed doors or whatever. We should love everybody because we can't make those decisions on what's right, what's wrong. There's a higher calling and a bigger power that has to make those decisions. But getting back on the subject of DABABY, I feel like not only was he wrong, but someone listen, DABABY has sold millions of records and he's at a certain height in popularity in the music industry and in hip hop right now to where someone should have taken him through media training classes or some kind of, public, not necessarily public speaking, but they used to have back in the day certain people in the music industry that would teach you, coach you, walk you through how to act, how to perform, how to say this on stage. It was the job of labels to prepare you for moments like DABABY was facing when he was live on stage or in front of the microphone giving an interview so that you don't blunder, so that you don't offend a certain race, a certain demographic, a certain culture of people. And he obviously either wasn't taken through that rigorous training on what to say and what not to say, or he was just off the cuff and just didn't give a hell about what he said that night. So in this case, there should have been some kind of artist development or media training to help him out in this situation. Once you apologize about something, it should be deaded over. Give me another chance. Let me redeem myself. But I'm assuming what happened in this situation, for what I could see, is that a lot of people in the industry didn't think his apology was authentic enough. So they was just like, get him out of here. We don't feel like that apology is sincere enough. So that's when the barrage and the parade of people just started coming down on him. From my opinion, it seemed like even harder because they seemed like he gave it seemed like he gave to them a half-ass apology. There's a thin line between counseling and canceling. We have to learn how to counsel these kids and instead of just canceling them. And you can't just dead these kids like that and be like, well, since you used to do this, and since you did that, you ain't no good to us no more. When you was just good enough for, headlining all of these major outside concerts and all of these venues, and you was just good enough to be featured on these, Billboard top 5 songs with this particular pop artist. Now we want you ripped off records and things like that. We don't want your songs played on the radio because you made a blunder and you made a mistake. And, I'm just not with deading kids like that. And DABABY is considered a kid. I mean, he's in his 20s. He's a young artist. So he's still growing up and still trying to navigate through the industry. So not to make excuses for him, like I have to keep preferencing this so y'all get where I'm coming from. We just can't give up on people like that. Because what if somebody would have gave up on you? I mean, let's just call it for what it is. I mean, seriously, what the hell if somebody would have gave up on you when you were 25 years old? You was out here wilding, you was out here being promiscuous, you was out here, smoking a little lie, or you was doing, whatever kind of drugs, you was doing. What if somebody gave up on you when you was out here in the streets killing, robbing, hustling, and doing everything, but then all of a sudden you found Christ, you found the Lord, you found a higher calling, and you turned your life around and now you're the person you are? Let's just call it for what it is. We can't be out here deading these kids like that. We can't do it. We can't just say, you're no good, you made a mistake. We're done with you. wipe you off the planet. It just don't work like that. It can't work like that, because just think about like all of that behavior that was going on, in the 90s, in the early 90s in hip hop, whether it be NWA or Two Live Crew or any other misogynistic artist you want to bring up. What if we would have deaded all of those artists and just cancel all those artists out? Like Dr. Dre when he had his incidents. What if we would have deaded and got rid of, canceled Two Live Crew, Luther Campbell? Those are two men right now in 2021. Dr. Dre, that's actually doing some good in the community. Dr. Dre is not only, a billionaire, close to a billionaire, but he's also giving back to his certain schools, a certain, I think it's a school, a high school or something like that in the California, in Los Angeles. He's doing a lot of good in the community, things behind the scenes that he's done that we don't even know about. Look at what Luther Campbell, Luke, is doing for, high school or young teenage kids and youth, and just youth in general, with the football programs in the Miami area. So, we would have canceled these guys out, these artists out years ago, they would have never developed into the gentlemen that they are now. So we have to look at it from that perspective too. And as far as like artists like Madonna and Elton John, who I love and respect, and surprisingly Questlove came out and just totally, wanted to cancel out DABABY. I just found that to be very, it's just, to each his own. But, I didn't see Elton John canceling out Eminem, when Eminem was saying his homophobic slurs on records years ago. If anything, I saw Elton John embrace Eminem and get up on stage and hold hands with him up in solidarity when Eminem apologized for his comments he made. But now I don't see Elton John doing that, in reference to a young black artist like DABABY. So it's kind of like a double standard, in that from what I see it in that particular situation. DABABY is getting a lot of support from artists out there. 50 Cent has recently said, all he has to do is just make great music, let his music do the talking, and, he'll, recover like Chris Brown recovered from his incidents. Nick Cannon was on the Breakfast Club earlier this week, a couple days ago. He showed some lightweight support towards DABABY, said that, we can't just be canceling, these young guys out like that. So I think DABABY will have to do a lot of damage control. I don't know, I think he'll definitely survive this. He just has to learn to move different. You can't be out here disrespecting people like that, which I think he's learned. Hopefully he's learned that. And hopefully, I pray that he can move on with his career in a more, better, positive direction and get, just get this bad incident out of the picture and it'll subside a little bit. So, but depending on the situation, we can't just be so quick to cancel people and just, disassociate ourselves from people who, just yesterday we was bumping his music, we was buying tickets to go see his concert, but now all of a sudden, since he, made a mistake, we want to cancel him, when we all humans, we all make mistakes. God forbid somebody has a camera, behind the scenes, a hidden camera in your house and a microphone on you 24/7. Let's hear what y'all do. Let's can't hear what y'all do, but you know what I'm saying? Let's hear what y'all say and let's see what y'all do. Just saying. Peace.